Not Wiper Party.
No, not Wiper, sorry.
Yes.
Not Wiper. I'll tell you this. In every election, there is always a negotiation between the coalition parties. And Kalonzo has been so accommodative to Raila that in many areas, especially in Nairobi, he could sit ground and leave ODM candidate to run so that they don't feel a Wiper candidate. Actually, I think the last election, they had very few areas. The rest were given to ODM because Raila demanded. That one I know very well because I'm privy to the information. Like areas like Mbakasi, where Babu is, that they told Wiper don't vote any candidate, and even if somebody want to run with Wiper, but our support as a coalition will be for this person. So where the coalition shows the support, that is where the member used to come from.
Has it now changed? Has it now changed?
It has changed.
Is he going to assert that this is Wiper now? I am the kingpin of the Kamba people, and therefore I'm commanding, directing you, the Kamba people in Nairobi, vote Wiper. Is that now the position?
The position will be the agreement between the coalition of the opposition, what they agree. That we cannot ignore that.
But that takes us back now to the original situation. Now we say that the electorate, the person on the ground, the real voter, the beneficiary or the victim of this
I think we've already agreed it's no longer down to the voter. These decisions are made.
That's the problem. And that's why you see, person I respect so much like Gideon Moi, he could sit ground. This is a person who could not see eye to eye with the Ruto. Okay? And he's a man who was actually the people of Baringo love up until today. And they wanted him to vie as their senator. What happened? You see, those are the kind of scenario which now deny the voters their right.
Because we were discussing our ODM strength going forward. With the kind of divisions we're seeing at the national level of the party, will this play down here? Because the support for the party is still strong. The divisions may be there at the party level. Do you think they will play down to the local assembly level?
Absolutely, I think so. First of all, Mheshimiwa said that because of the backing, and of course, Tambo also pointed out, because of the backing of Raila that was there for these individual candidates, and he made a very pointed, a heavy point by saying that, look, that backup is no longer there. And so these politicians are now, quote unquote, on their own, and I do not think, in all fairness to them, they have that political mettle and the strength, the backbone, by means of which then to go on their own, assert on the ground that I need you to re-elect me as a standalone candidate because of my political stand or whatever it is. Look at now what is happening to ODM's so-called radicals. When Honorable Babu Owino stood in Mombasa and he said that, well, this probably may be the last address that I'm going to address you. I don't know how weighty that statement is. But he was saying that if I'm called to go back to the streets, I'll go back to the street. And Honorable Rengo, His Excellency, the governor, said that, look, we are not going to be sold fear. If it means that we go back to the street, we will go back to the street. And let's not forget that we have the numbers in the National Assembly. And so you have these, quote unquote, radicalized, the original face of ODM that, look, there will be, as if he takes that anti-government, if he takes going to the street, they will do it. So that faction is probably going to be asserting itself and saying that, look, hey, I don't want to say throwing their weight, but this is the political confidence they have, and probably they will project that political confidence, Honorable Babu Owino, for instance, and His Excellency Rengo, as, you know, standalone political figures, but who will then say that I am ODM, I'm a living ODM. So they will, in my view, attract they who will gravitate towards them as a faction in ODM. So that may also attract MCAs or candidates in MCAs who will then enable that sustenance, as it were. So
ODM may not really be done in Nairobi. Let me still get some.
In Nairobi, it may not be done, especially when you look at Babu Owino's political ambition for the governorship. He has expressed this.
Okay. All right.
And he may probably pose some challenge to.
He does not agree with that. But allow me.
No. It's a proposition.
Yes.
Open to his interpretation.
Because of time,
Yes.
and I want to give you each about 3 minutes for your final comments. Of course, there's a big one. We'll be having a big discussion about the hacking after this at 8 a.m., about the hacking of government websites. That's one conversation that definitely we wouldn't pay a lot of time to on this section. But there's also what you're expecting later in the week with the State of the Nation address by the President, and his legislative agenda is already talked about, the infrastructure fund that he wants to talk about. And he said, don't worry about where the money is going to come from. Leave that to me. You just enact the law. Final comments. 3 minutes.
On that particular area, let me wind up by saying the political arithmetics of the ODM. And don't forget that it has not been, ODM has always been in an election with what we call a particular coalition. And that coalition has been always supporting it to get majority numbers. In that particular coalition, minus WIPA and minus GAPK, then you just you can straight away see that there is a crack there and there is an injury there. And coming to what the president is coming to address the nation, I'm sure he has nothing new to tell the nation. He has expressed himself on taking this particular country to what we call the first world. And from that world, I have no problem with that. And he has given figures which are amounting to 4.5 trillion Kenya shillings. One, I want him to account the already 3 trillion he has borrowed since he came to power. The 3 trillion is amount of money that Kenyans should see quite a tremendous development. We have not seen it. And therefore, his dream of taking this country to first world is still a big way to go. Mm-hmm. But this time around, he will be able to praise many carrots as possible. He has made sure that this country is starving financially, economically, but money is with a particular person. And therefore, dishing out will be an issue where everybody is hungry to get cash. And therefore, it will compromise majority of Kenyans through that cash because of the scarcity that we are in.
Do you think that, for example, now that Raila Odinga is no longer there, that President Ruto now enjoys the unchecked influence of members of parliament across both UD and ODM?
Well, let me say that money still is a big key in what you call political control. And William is very smart on how to spend your cash. Mm-hmm. And therefore, still have a way to maintain and still hold the ODM fraternity in the floor of the House.
Okay. Thank you, Bwana Gakuya. Wakili, you go next.
Thank you. I think my huge concern is about the hackers' paradise that we see here and what happened. And I'm shocked and I'm surprised that the government has not even seen that this is a national threat. How do you migrate services that you can get onto a platform you do not own, you do not control,